Robben Island. The loop around for the very first time as attempted by the Madswimmer team. It is 5:55 in the morning. Jean Craven, the founder of the Madswimmer initiative, is joined by businessman Emil Burney and lawyer Megan Harrington Johnson. Departure took place exactly at 6 a.m. from Big Bay just north of Cape Town Central. Conditions are slightly overcast. No wind, but the water temperature is a cold 13.5 degrees. Ke disesi tse tharo fela tse tla phepetsana lebelohading lena la 24 kilometers. Every 30 minutes, the swimmers take a break. On average, they cover 2 kilometers during each 30-minute session. The loop around the island is expected to take between 7 and 8 hours. That is if all goes well.
So I think, the biggest challenge obviously with any Robben Island swim is the temperature, and it's kind of one of the world-renowned swims, and because of the cold. So, normally just doing the crossing, in 2.5 hours, one can cope with the temperature, but the fact that we spent almost 7 hours in the water today, sub 14, that was a real challenge. And we were just throughout the whole day hoping that the temperature was going to pick up, and it just didn't. Fortunately, the sun came out and the sun on our back, so that helped a lot. But a long day in cold water is not for the faint-hearted.
The biggest challenges with a swim like this is to get the right conditions. In the wrong conditions, it's an impossible swim. So you need to have a look at the right conditions. They always plan 5-6 months in advance, so it's a little bit of luck of the draw. We use 2 weekends, so we've got 4 potential days, and we choose the best day of it. So up to a week, 2 weeks before, we start checking out the forecasts and trying to work out which is going to be the very best day to swim, to maximize the chance of making the swim.
The sea is calm, but cold. After 3 hours and 30 minutes, the Madswimmers are at the halfway mark.
I think that from the swim, the distance wasn't too much of a concern. We did have concerns about the temperature leading up about a week before the swim. A week ago, the water was about 10-11 degrees. I think we were very fortunate. It warmed up on the day to about 14 degrees. And the average temperature ranged between 13.4 and about 15 degrees on the swim. So the first part of the swim was no wind, it was flat, it was absolutely brilliant. And as we came around the island, we came fairly close to, and then the visibility was perfect, the temperature is warm, and that probably was the nicest part of the swim, was that piece. And when we got about halfway around the back of the island, the water dropped to just over 13, and you could feel the difference. So it took a bit of your effort and mindset to change your mind, to pick up the pace a bit, just to keep your body warmer.
The challenges that I faced today are unlike anything that I've ever faced before. I was firstly terrified of the sharks. At one point we realized that our shark shield was off on our boat, and we don't know how long it had been off for, so that was quite scary. And then on the other side of the island there was a group of seals that swam underneath us and gave us quite a fright, because you obviously just see their white belly and all of a sudden they come up underneath you and you freak out and then carry on swimming. And then I think the worst bit for me was that I got seasick, and I've never gotten seasick in a swim before. The chop was unbelievable. And then the third challenge, or the fourth challenge, was the kelp, swimming through the kelp along the other side of the island. It's like swimming through a forest and you're having to pull your way through. That was very, very difficult.
The morning sun burns away some of the cloud cover, but the water is getting choppy and remains very cold. Johan Theron drags an orange line behind the paddle ski to guide the swimmers. Megan, with the pink cap, is wearing a wetsuit for this challenge. Emil and John sport only a speedo and goggles. Skipper Derek Fraser, the official swim observer, is in constant radio contact with his crew at Big Bay. A medical crew has been on standby the whole morning. After 6 hours and 54 minutes, they put feet on the sand of Bloberg Beach.
This is the first time that anybody circumnavigated Robben Island. So we swam the whole way from Big Bay, around Robben Island, and then back out at Big Bay. So I think it was about 25 kilometers. My watch says 25, I think Jean says 24. We're not 100% certain, but it's a very long way to swim in very cold water. The temperatures were quite rough. The water was very, very, very cold. And the chop around the other side of the island was horrific, to the point where I got seasickness while swimming. So it was a rough one, but we do these swims all the time for charity, and it's all about achieving what nobody else has achieved before, so as to raise funds for underprivileged kids and then also inspire people to reach their goals.
Each one of Madswimmer's swims we raise funds for charity, and this swim we raised funds for local charity in Cape Town. They look after preschool children, some of them with AIDS, and it's all about education. So we're very fortunate to have raised quite a bit. We'll still have to see how much at the end of the day, but it's all for a good cause. And it's one of those double-edged swords. Not only did we raise funds for charity, but also the swimmers themselves today, I think, put themselves at the test. So it was a good all-round.
Well done to all on the Madswimmer Challenge.